I don't want to get yelled at. So.
1 o'clock. Are they ready? We're gonna rock and roll right now.
Waiving of the fees?
Go. To waive the fees.
Yep.
Okay.
And
All
Mike.
right. So that's all this resolution is for, is just to
Yeah.
basically waive the fees?
Okay, I'm gonna hammer.
Thank you.
You ready?
Put your mic on, Chip.
Where's Jim?
MC. Call the meeting to order. Start with the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, welcome everybody to the trustees' regular meeting, September 22nd, 2025, 1 PM. Welcome to the folks on Zoom out there in TV land. I will ask the Secretary Treasurer Warner to call the roll, please.
Scott Horowitz.
Present.
Ed Warner, here. Chip Marin.
Here.
Joe McLaughlin.
Here.
And Matt Parsons.
Okay, our next meeting will be a work session on Monday, October 6th, 10:30 a.m., and followed by our regular general meeting the same day at 1 p.m. We do have some communications. I will dispense with reading them. You can all,
Make a motion to waive the reading of them.
seconded by trustee McLaughlin, all in favor? Aye. Okay, we do have some discussions here. I have one for Mr. Secretary Treasurer Warner about budget.
Our accountant, James Olivo, was supposed to be here and give us an overview of the proposed budget, so we're waiting for him to.
He's with the comptroller of the town right now, so when he comes back in, or actually, Charlotte, if you could just tell him we started the meeting, and he can come in and we can
Yeah, we can just. when he
move to the next.
Yep.
Let's move to the next. We do have a public hearing. Notice of public hearing to permit taking of gastropods in uncertified waters. I will make a motion to open that public hearing.
I'll second it.
Seconded by trustee Warner. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the public hearing is open.
Okay.
I would ask our
Yep.
counsel,
Okay.
Mr. Lombardo.
We had previously had a public hearing opened a couple of months ago. There was some confusion on my part as to what we really needed to do. In consultation with trustee Warner, we withdrew that resolution. This public hearing today takes care of the confusion that I had, which I again apologize for. But what it will allow you to do is, since gastropods are not sedentary filter feeders, it will allow people with a DEC permit to commercially harvest gastropods in waters where they're deemed uncertified. Again, since they don't filter feed, they're not going to be affected by the conditions there at that particular moment. And again, they move, so being wherever they would live, we really would have no way of knowing, but it will allow us to be in harmony with the DEC regulations that allows the commercial harvesting of gastropods in uncertified waters.
And recreational harvest.
And recreational harvesters as well.
Yep, okay. Thank you, Joe. So, anybody have any further questions? I'd like to,
I don't have any further questions. I just think it's going to require some diligence on the part of enforcement, obviously.
Obviously,
Right?
yes.
but I like to close the hearing then.
I'll second that.
Seconded by trustee McLaughlin, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public hearing is closed. Moving to the public portion, is there anybody here that would like to address the trustees for a few minutes? Public portion, anybody on Zoom have their hand up?
No one with their
No
hand.
one has their hand up. Okay, so let's close public portion. Let's go to applications. I have trustee resolution 2025-26. This is the application of Pratik Dalal, QPRT, 20 Ludlow Lane, Hampton Bays, tax map 900-345-1-11. This is a project that was extensively worked on Smith's Creek. I believe at this point in time, we have an approvable application that is in synchronicity with all the other regulatory authorities.
Okay. So you recommend its approval then?
I recommend at this point in time, we've heard substantially from the public as well, and I know that every member's had the opportunity to take that into consideration as well. And I think at this point in time, we've done a lot of work on this.
Okay.
So I recommend its approval.
I'll second that.
Seconded by trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. We have trustee resolution 2025-258, application of 111 Summer Window LLC, 111 Dune Road, Village of Quogue, tax map 902-15-1-9. I recommend its approval.
Second.
Seconded, trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Trustee resolution 2025-259, R&W Engineers, for the application of 46 Ram Pasture owners for 46 Ram Pasture Road in Hampton Bays, tax map 900-320-1-5.2. It's a project on Tiana Bay. They've met all the terms and conditions that the board had concerns with. I recommend its approval.
Second.
Seconded, trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
We have trustee resolution 2025-260. It's a modification of Sarah Coyne, 34 Mineola Court, Hampton Bays, tax map 900-345-1-48.1. Another project out on the Tiana Bay. Recommend its approval.
Second.
Seconded, trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We have trustee resolution 2025-261, application of the Conway Irrevocable Trust at 113 Dune Road in the Village of Quogue. I recommend this approval.
Second.
Seconded, trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
James Olivo's here. Do you want to?
I see Mr. Olivo is here. Mr. Olivo, would you like to come back up, and then we will start with the applications with trustee Warner, but we want to have a conversation relative to the proposed budget.
Okay.
So, I know you've worked very hard on this, and this is first year that we are dealing with the tax district. And you've been working, very hard, leading up to the implementation of the district and now throughout the year. And, you've been examining and working, and I'd like to get, for the public's edification, where you feel we're at and where you feel we're going. I know you've been in the comptroller or treasury business for how many years?
Since 1977 in some form or another.
So I think that
The
you're,
last 10 as an independent consultant and contractor. And I've been working this board now for 3 years through the process of getting your own tax line. We are in an evolutionary place, not in a revolutionary place, as we've grown. The current year, we are looking at results of operation that are going to show us at about $140,000 use of surplus. That was spent prudently by this board on the road repairs that were approved at the last board meeting. That is impacting our budget for next year. It was the intent of this board, and is still the intent of this board, to replenish that surplus at some point. However, in order to do that, we're going to have to generate some new revenue sources, which will be work that we're going to be doing in the next budget. We complied with the town's request that we give them an early budget, which we did. It was not as early as they would like, but it was early. We then have this point, which is to file a proposed budget, which a preliminary budget subject to your approval. That was filed on Friday, and that is a spending plan that is $3,437,000 total in revenues and expenses offset. That would drive the tax levy up more than the 2%. At this point, we're going to be going back and reworking some of those numbers, and we will be in compliance with the 2% growth that we are allowed under the enabling legislation. While it is something like a tax cap, it is not exactly a tax cap. It is under the enabling legislation that provided you to be your own taxing entity.
The 2% tax cap, how much is that in like monetary value? Like,
Well, our tax levy is slightly short. Our tax levy last year was slightly short of $2 million, so you would be slightly short of $40,000
$40,000 increase.
That would be the tax cap levy.
Not a lot of money. I'd
Not a
say
lot
the
of money. There
Taxpayer
is-
gets a lot of bang for the buck out of the trustees.
There is a whole lot more into a tax cap than just taking a levy and multiplying it by 2%. There's growth factors that are allowed under the tax cap legislation. Those growth factors do not apply to you because your cap is not under the tax cap as much as it's under the enabling legislation. And the enabling legislation allows this board to request override of that enabling legislation 2%. So you could go to the town board, who could vote to grant you greater level of expenditure and effectively a greater level of tax revenue to support that expenditure. It's not your intention to do that, I get that. It's not my intention to provide a final budget that will do that. We will make this work. There will be some use of fund balance, however, for certain things. There are things on the horizon that need to be taken care of, and you've given direction that we will do that. This is the first step in the process for this board to accept the proposed budget, even though we know that there's going to be changes to it. There will be a public hearing set at your next, the setting of the public hearing will be at your next meeting, and you will have a revised budget at that point that will be compliant. I will be working with the Controller's Office here to provide that and confirm that that is the case. So that's where we are. You then would have a public hearing and possible adoption on the 17th of October.
I think it's a great conversation, and I think it's been a real eye-opening experience for everybody, because, for this board, public safety is always something that's of paramount importance. Traffic and the conditions of roads is something that everybody in the town, all taxpayers that are traveling and visitors to our community are concerned about. And a lot of our difficulty and expense is relative to road repairs, right? And our roads are heavily beaten up with all the, especially out east, with all of the construction that's been going on, right, throughout our community. And the nuance that some of these roads are under the auspices, ownership, whatever, of the trustees, have not had sustainable sources of funding for these things, that now have come up with a creative way to provide public safety and improve some roads to make it better for the citizens that have to use these roads. But we've got to be fiscally responsible with this, and that's what we're attempting to do. That's what we're doing, right? I think that there's been certain thought processes that looked at these as being, people's private driveways, but that's far from the truth. There is no such thing as a shortcut in this town. That's the secret to anybody these days with technology. Every road is jammed up, and you have subdivisions off of these roads that require the use of them, aside from ambulances and fire trucks and police vehicles and whatnot. And I think that this is and will be an exercise that gives an example of how much the trustees can actually do for the greater good when they're on sound financial ground, and how it affects everybody's quality of life and public safety. So I want to applaud you and for the work that you've done with the board over the last 3 years and the work that you're doing now. And we're lucky to have somebody with a experience that dates back to the 70s, back when music was still good. I appreciate that, and I look forward to the process moving forward.
Yeah, I want to thank you for educating our board. I mean, budgeting is a mystery to a lot of people in finance, but you've taken us through the whole process, and I've learned a lot, and I think the whole board has, so thank you very much, Jim.
We can continue to grow and understand. It's very important to be transparent. It's very important to have an understanding, that you have an understanding of where we are, because it is your responsibility as the fiduciaries of this public trust that you have. And you've acted historically in a manner that supports that fiscal responsibility that you've had.
I would venture to say the future of our town depends upon that.
Well, it's larger than the town.
It's,
It's getting that trust back in that government finance
Yes.
is a profession and a science as much as it is, and not subject to whims.
it's not, and when you look at what's,
Can't be subject to whims
Not at
and
all.
operate properly budgetarily.
when your responsibility is charged with protecting and defending public access to waterways and beaches, okay? And the natural resources that affect everybody's quality of life and property values, that's a very serious charge. That's a serious fiduciary duty and stewardship that requires you to really be on top of your game when it comes to the finances. And I think that's what this board has shown, and that's the direction that we're gonna have to go in the future, so.
Thank you for and thank you for your confidence in my work. I appreciate it.
3 years.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move right along to our, yes.
Sorry, Mr. President. Can we move back to 20 Ludlow? I don't believe we received the DEC permit for that yet, and they were supposed to be waiting on them. I don't know if you want to move back to that.
one?
20 Ludlow Lane.
Any Ludlow? Critique?
I think that,
I believe they had comments from the DEC, and they were
I thought that we've addressed the comments from the
Yeah, I
DEC.
don't, were you here for that?
I believe that we addressed the comments from the DEC. I thought he adjusted those in the plan.
Shorten up the wind return.
Yes, I believe that they did.
DEC.
My recollection is the DEC requests that they make the project smaller.
Correct.
And when they were here for the last day of the public hearing, they indicated that they amended the application to reflect the DEC permit.
Right,
So-
those comments came in, and we,
I don't think the resolution reflects that then, because this resolution's the same one as it's been tabled. So if there was changes to the,
so if there needs to be a modification of the resolution that was passed, I think that there could be a.
We could recall and amend.
okay, I just wanted to make sure that you guys
See,
were aware.
my knowledge of this is that it's been through various cycles. We've heard a lot from the public here, verbally or in writing, and the applicant has worked, with everyone, and stood there and basically said there were comments and they were making adjustments, and, being well aware that you need to be able to check every regulatory authority's box. If there's some, modification or change that has to happen to this wording, you good with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that. Again, he did indicate that they amended our application to reflect the DEC. So if the language of the resolution needs to be amended, we can always recall and amend, but
We had a special meeting last week for a Scrivener's error, so if we have to have another recall and amend because of some error in whatever, it happens. But I think in spirit of the project and what the applicant is asking to do to protect their property, taking into consideration the shoreline and the public's concerns, I think that those questions have been carefully considered, studied, and dealt with at this point. I think if you're talking about adjusting language here,
I just want to make sure you're aware.
I mean, in the event you find out that perhaps we do have to make an adjustment, then we can always recall and amend.
Okay.
I think that's okay. All right.
Ed?
You're up.
You're up.
Trustee Resolution 2025-262, application for James M. Yasser, 27 Common Point Drive, Hampton Bay, Suffolk County, tax map 900-269-3-12, body of water, Shinnecock Bay. We discussed this at work session. It meets the criteria for approval, so I'd like to see it approved. I need a second on it.
Second.
Seconded, trustee McLaughlin, all in favor?
Aye.
Trustee Resolution 2025-263, application of Southampton Town for 20 Shinnecock Road, Hampton Bays, Suffolk County, tax map 900-323-4-12, -1-4, Body of Water Penny Pond. This is the old Bel Air Hotel property on Penny Pond. We worked on this at work session. I think it's a really good project, and I think it's going to benefit the local residents and the people of the town, so I recommend its approval. I need a second.
I'll second that.
Seconded trustee Parsons, all in favor?
All
Aye.
right. Trustee Resolution 2025-264, this is a first renewal application for 68 Bethune Trust and 61 Ferry Road in Village of North Haven, New York. Recommend second.
Second?
Seconded by trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Trustee Resolution 2025-265, this is a recall and amend the Trustee Resolution 2025-239, application of Sag Harbor Village, Sag Harbor Cove, New York, tax map number 903-45148.1. This is just to affirm that any and all fees deemed waived to the applicant is the governmental authority and undertaking said project for preservation of public access to the waterways.
Seconded trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Trustee Resolution 2025-266, adopt 2026 trustee proposed budget. Need a second on that?
I'll second that.
Seconded trustee Parsons, all in favor?
Aye.
Trustee Resolution 2025-267. This is a resolution to accept road review application of Juniper Land LLC, tax map number 900-14-60.3. This is permission to build on a fronting a trustee road owned application, the specification by the road review committee. Juniper Land LLC, tax map number 900-14-6-60.3.
It's $25,000.
Second.
Seconded by trustee Warner, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
This is 2025-268. This is a notice of public hearing on the amendment of BB Article V, Section 35 of fish pounds and fikes and traps and pots. This is to make it deemed that no fikes shall be allowed in, or deployed in Sag Pond or Mecox Bay from the dates of April 30th through September 15th inclusively.
And this is to set the public hearing date for October 6, 2025 at 1 PM here at Town Hall.
Yep. Second that.
Seconded trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye. Trustee Resolution 2025-269, notice of adoption of amendment of Blue Book A340, amending the management and products of the waters of town Southampton, Article 2, Section 5, taking of shellfish. I recommend its approval. I need a second.
I'll second that.
Seconded trustee Parsons, all in favor?
Aye. Okay, here we go. 2025-270, trustee warrant 15 for 2025 for the warrant, $433,195.37. The register reads as Anderson Tooling, $1,300, Quanstrux LLC, $227.30, Charlotte Dickinson, $33.60, Lopez Equipment Corporation, $91.96, Town of Southampton, $431,459.16, and WB Mason for the sum of $83.85, for a total of $433,195.37. I recommend its approval. I need a second.
Seconded trustee McLaughlin, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I think that concludes our meeting. I know we've been very busy with all types of discussions, and, I think we have finished our agenda. Therefore, it's time for a motion.
Motion to close?
You making it?
Yep.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded trustee Warner, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, meeting adjourned. Have a great day, everybody.